All righty. Thank you guys so much for coming. And I apologize for the delay with the technical difficulties this morning. My name's Taylor. Today we're going over print marketing. We're going to create a flyer and walk through creating a listing presentation. Feel free as we go to throw your questions in the chat, and I'm going to do my best to watch anything that pops in and answer as we go. If I miss any questions, hopefully we'll have time to revisit at the end. I'm going to try not to go too fast to make up for lost time. But if we have time afterwards, then I will stay and answer questions that I may have missed. You can also email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. And we'll be happy to either troubleshoot your systems or answer any questions that you have. First thing that we're going to do is go to agent.kw.com. And we're going to enter our username, which usually has to do with our first and last name and some numbers. That can be different, but that's typically what we see. And this field is not case sensitive. And then enter your password and sign in. All right, and the first thing that we're going to actually do is walk through updating our marketing profile. So going to settings, let me zoom in a little bit. So going up to your name in the right-hand corner, if you drop that down, looks like I got a little too click happy and it's freezing. But under your name, there's going to be a settings option. And that's going to drop us into the main integrations section of the settings. So your accounts that you can connect. There we go. And then on the left-hand side of the screen here, under Connect Settings is your marketing profile. And this is going to be all of our information that pulls automatically into the designs that we create, depending on what it is that we're using. Looks like some of the technical difficulties are continuing still, so I apologize. So now that we're in our marketing profile, we want to have a headshot here in this section. And it's got a recommended size so that no matter what you're creating or posting, maybe on your website, the photo doesn't get distorted. Same thing for a team logo. Obviously, if you're on a team, this is where that logo can go. If you're not on a team and you've created your own logo, you can upload that here for your business. If you haven't done that, which is totally fine, we do recommend still having something in this section. So either a generic KW logo or maybe a realtor logo, something that you use frequently and want on your material. That way, when you are pulling in certain widgets in designs that cannot be edited, you don't have a broken image icon. Then we're going to go, just down here, making sure everything is up to date. So first and last name, agent license number, your team name. If you're on a team, obviously, that's where that's going to go. If not, this will typically say your name at Keller Williams and then whichever office name you're at. You've got a professional job title. If you have a slogan for your business, any designations that you have. If you have military affiliations, a spot for your bio, your phone number, office phone number. If you have or if your office utilizes a fax number, your email address that you want displayed on your marketing material, and your website URL. Here you have your brokerage information. So this is where your office specific logo will go. Your office name, phone number, address, and your market center license number. And here is your legal footer compliance section. So this may look different depending on which state you're in, but you have your legal footer text. If you're in a state that requires links in your footer, here you can add your text box and then the link that you need that to go to. You have a legal footer image. And then your social media accounts. If you link those here, that's going to be more pertinent to linking your website to your social media accounts, but completing the marketing profile, this is where that would go. And then save any updates. If you're not sure where to find either the generic KW logos or your specific office logos, you can go in through My KW and go into KW Connect under marketing. And there's actually a logos and branding section where you can get all of that based on your market center. Now we're going to pop over to designs, which is the third from bottom applet with the little paintbrush inside a square. And this is going to look different because these are going to be what designs you have already utilized, either started using a template for, or anything that you've actually created and finished. So for today, we're going to go and focus in print marketing. So we're going to create a design and select print. And first, we're going to look at a flyer. And since we just started October, we're going to go to holidays and advertise a holiday party. Oh no, that doesn't sound right. Well, I guess we're not going to do that, guys. I was a little bit hopeful. But we can technically create that flyer just with a different template. So let's look at listings. Actually, look at that. Under lead generation, we have event invitations. Guys, there are so many templates that you can choose from. So if you don't like the look of any of the templates you're looking at, then you can just find a different template so you're not recreating everything from scratch or redoing an entire template and then just changing everything about it in regards to the actual, words or images. So let's do this one. Let's say we wanted to send out door hangers. You can filter by specific styles, so that way your sizing is correct already. We have flyers, postcards, or standard postcards. So you've got 4x6 or 6x4, and you'll notice that those change in orientation even though they're the same size. But we're going to go to a normal flyer, 8.5 by 11. And once you've found the template you want to use, You just hover over it and select Use. And that's going to pop up our editor. So this is just telling us that if we had multiple pages, you could pop out this menu to see what we have going on here. But we're creating a single page flyer, so that's not necessarily important. But that will be when we go over the listing presentation. So here, you can just start playing with how this is laid out. You can change fonts, sizing. You have all of these editors. You have the option to double click in the text box to make any edits that you'd like. You also have the typewriter function, which is, let's zoom in just a little more so it might be easier on your screen to see. This icon right here after the text size, if you select that, it will actually pop out this text over here. So you can just type right in there. Save changes, and then that keeps formatting. We found that sometimes if you double click and type directly into the text box, sometimes the formatting gets a little wonky. We're just going to pop out everything for our information. Again, just making all of our edits. You can drag your text box as well. And here I'm just putting generic information, but this would be a great spot, obviously, for the event details. If this were a different type of flyer and maybe we were advertising a listing or an open house, this would be a great spot for the MLS remarks about the property. Next, we're going to swap out our photo. So you'll notice over here, we have the images selected, which was already defaulted here. You do have the option to add text boxes. And there are some items that you can use. My assets, we'll visit how to update that before we dive into listing presentations. But these are going to be your frequently used items. So you'll notice I have name, both parts of my office address, the office name, my email address, and phone number. You can do the same thing with your images. So here we have our headshots and logos. There is also a logo section. But for this, we're going to add and I just choose to drag and drop. You can double click on this box and that will open up your Finder on your computer. So you can either search your downloads or maybe your desktop, depending on where you've saved your image. So once we have the photo that we want replaced, for this, we're going to replace this image with the one we just added. So we want to use replace image. That's going to directly put this over where that one was. And we're going to reposition because it looks like we are just a little bit out of whack. Okay. So for this, it didn't quite work the way I wanted. So maybe I should move that, reposition. Again, sometimes that doesn't work. So if you play with that a little bit and it doesn't reposition the way that you want, you also have the option to delete that and then just directly add this image. Readjust, place it where you want. And sometimes that's a little bit easier. I don't like the way that looks, so we're going to change the alignment. Again, you can just really play with all of this to make sure it looks the way that you want. Here, we're going to switch out our logo so that it has the appropriate Market Center logo. And that's where these My Assets section will come in handy. So you're not having to upload your office logo every single time. Just like with that first photo, I just replaced the logo with one of these that I have. And now we're going to swap out these texts. You can do the same thing with My Assets or your text boxes with these sections down here. However, because these are two sections looped in the same text box, if I were to try to switch the text, it's going to select the entire box. So if I swap, you'll notice that my team name option went away. So in that case, it may be easier just to replace everything. Come in here again. Pop out all of our information. Alrighty, so once we're satisfied with how this looks, again, you can choose whichever template you want. So this may, if I'm being honest, looks kind of boring, but you can always add more in. You can add shapes. You can add, add that in, whatever's going to make it more appealing for you and your clients. And now we're going to rename it. So I'm going to label it trick or treat and leave the _/FL, because for me, that stands for flyer. So I can easily see the size of the template that I used when I go into my main dashboard. And let's say I'm ready for this. Maybe I'm going to save this as an image to post on social media as well. You can always do that, or add this image to a social post. You can also download as a PDF, either general PDF or for printing, which adds higher quality. You can also choose to order print directly through the editor. So if you do that, you'll be walked through the options of how you want it sent. So you order your envelopes with your paper and how many copies, and you'll have your estimate down here. And then once you walk through and finalize everything, you'll get your official total. All right, it looks like there's a question. If you save these, do they appear for everyone to use, like shared campaigns, or just yourself? So these are going to stay in your main, your dashboard, your specific designs area. You do have the option to share the project. So if you share, you can share directly to any of these connected apps that you have. Only members of your team with the link. So if you're on a team and you're trying to share this to everyone, you can do that. But typically this is just going to stay within your database. The other option, you do have a couple options with these. If you download as a PNG and download the image, you can then share the image directly to whoever you want it to. And then they will have the option to upload that image and add it to a design that they make as well. The only problem with that is it would obviously have your branding, so they would have to try to, cover that, or maybe just edit the image so that that's not included. Just kind of depends on what's going to be easiest and what route you're going to send this out. And then that'll load here as the most recent, depending on how you filter. As your dashboard grows, you can see the type of design that was created. So this is a print flyer. This is an email template. Social design. So this is going to be mostly just an image. Or video. You can also filter by that specific type if you're looking to reuse a design or find one that you created a while ago that you need to go back and edit. So one more time, ordering after you've printed, or sorry, ordering your print after you've created it. There's going to be an order print button here. And then that walks you through specifically ordering through the WeBrand editor. After giving you some options for thickness or paper stock. It walks you through your bleed area and where the safe information is. So you can always adjust based on where things are. Back to editing. Move that further over. Looks like we're still cutting it close on that edge as by the indication here, but I'm just going to leave it. And then here you have a checkbox for downloading your print to preview it. So you'll have this screen here and it's kind of grayed out, but there you go. You have a progress bar up here. Now you have a larger view of what you're going to order. I agree to terms and conditions, continue. And then finalizing your order is going to be your information and the delivery address. And card information. This may populate if you have something saved in your payment section for campaigns. Or you can manually enter that. You also have the option if you just downloaded this as a PDF. You can then either print at your office if you like the quality of the printer, or send it off to a different print shop if you wanted to go that route as well. You're not required necessarily to go through the WeBrand editor, but it is convenient. All right, we're gonna hop into assets really quick, and I'm just gonna kind of breeze through that since we went over what it is. I'm just gonna show you where to find it so we can spend the rest of our time going through the listing presentation and answering questions. So if you go to import design, it takes you to this version of things that you've created. You can import a PDF here. So that's another option, just like if you were to share the image or the PDF that you downloaded and you wanted to send it to someone else to use, they could import the PDF file here. And then once it imports, you'll actually be able to then go in and edit all of those fields as well. So then they could go in and change their name, phone number, email address as necessary, but have the same image, same invite going out. But here is the assets. So this is where you can add color palettes or fonts if you have that something specific for your business. Images, so frequently used images. This is where we recommend at least your headshots. I have uploaded some logos, but there is also a logos section. So that's kind of redundant, and logos is a little bit more friendly when it comes to, the transferring and replacing. So for logos, we recommend having as many versions of your office DBA logo as you can. That way you have options depending on how you want the transparency to show up. And if you don't have all of those, either ask your office if they have those on file, or you can go in through, let's see. You know what, we'll do that at the end. Make sure we have time. My KW, and then in the upper section, there's going to be a marketing option that takes you into KW Connect. And if you go there, one of your first options on that screen should be branding, KW logos and branding, I believe is the title of it. And if you go there, you can actually scroll down and search by your market center number. And that's going to pull up all of the available logos through KW based on your specific office. Here's a section for text. So this is where we recommended having those text boxes with your name. You have your company name, so that's the office. Address line 1 and 2. I very clearly went way out of order when I added mine. Email and phone number. So these are the most used pieces of information, no matter what you're creating. But some of this will also pull from your marketing profile. So if you have a slogan that you've added, or maybe a bio, if you want to, like, you can really add whatever you want. So add text. You have all of these, your links. And then if nothing in here is what you're trying to add as a frequently used text box, you can just do other. Label it what you want, input the text. Save, and there you go. You also have elements, so this is going to be more shapes, icons, stickers. If you have videos that you frequently send out to clients, maybe in an email or something, maybe an introduction video that you want to add to a campaign or a smart plan, you can totally add that here, upload the video or any files. So if you have a commonly used file you send out, you have that option as well. So we're going to go back into templates now. And for this, we're going to go to listings and listing presentation. And you'll notice that there are a couple options that you can choose from. It's kind of hard to see, but on this packet, we have 9 or more pages. So if you hover over it, it'll kind of breeze through what it looks like. So if you like the look, you can always use. Once you're satisfied with whichever one you want, we're going to, again, hit use and go into that editor. And this time I'm going to start by renaming the design, and I'm going to say listing presentation template. And we're going to create this without specific client information. I'm still going to point out where you would update it or how. But we're going to do this as if we're creating a template so that when we have different listing presentations to make, the only thing we need to update is going to be our client name and obviously the specific home information, rather than having to worry about all of that information as well as personalize it to us. So here we have that pop out that tells us we actually have 29 pages. And this just walks through. There is an introductions page, or not introduction, instructions page. So this just goes over what the listing presentation was designed for, how it was, created, trying to have you as the agent in mind for your quick usability of it, but also to let you know this is not already perfect. Go in and make sure your information and your client's information is updated. So first thing, we're going to delete page number 2. Not sure why that adjusted, but here this looks just a little plain for me. So we're going to add a text box, line it up. We're going to pretend that that is super creative and fancy. That way it just covers a little more of the page. Then obviously client name, compliments of. So this is where we can switch out our text with my assets. And that way it keeps the formatting. But this one is going to be we want to manually add this so that when we swap, it doesn't delete all the rest of it. And then with our image, swap out that headshot. Going to my logos. Make sure we have the right box selected. So here you'll see there is a white rectangle that is just placed here so that it outlines where the logo is. So that's why it wasn't giving me the replace option. I'm just going to adjust that so I can select where I want, replace my logo, but then move my box back. And I want to grab these text boxes and just adjust that a little bit. Save my changes. Make that small adjustment. All right. So then on this page, the only thing I'll need to do is update the client's name and perhaps the photo of their house, if I have one. Or maybe I sneak one or find it from a previous listing. Or you can leave a template. Just depends on how you choose to make this. Then moving on down, we're just gonna breeze through each page. Find any personalizations that we need to make your property. So this is obviously going to be the property address of the house. So you would just change that. Make sure that this page is specific to them. So obviously want to make sure that all of this, after you've done your research on it, is accurate. Same thing here. And you'll notice here we have a text box and another white box so that it looks that way. But here they chose to make it a red box. You can choose however you want to do this with a color fill. We have the main palette in the workspace. In my settings is all of the KW colors. Arrange. You can send this box backwards. You can hit it as many times as you need. And in that case, we're going to change the text color. And it looks like I sent the box back a little too far. So we're going to pull that forward one so that we have it in front of the line, but behind the text. And then obviously with your research for this presentation, you're going to have information on the neighborhood. And comparable properties. So you would just come in here, switch the photo, the address, the stats. Let's say we don't necessarily want a neighborhood page. It feels like it's a bit redundant because, you know, maybe it's just not part of your presentation. You can always delete that specific page. I thought we were past the technical issues, guys. I apologize. I might just move a little too quick. Don't get click happy. If you're someone that tries to go too quick and just starts clicking on everything, this is what happens. So learn from me. We'll see how I broke it, if any of our changes saved. Okay, now we're going to go back to our pages. It's taken a while to update. but it looks like most of our changes saved. Yep, we froze on deleting this, so I'm gonna ignore that. You also have the option to duplicate. So if you wanted additional comparable properties, or maybe you like the layout and want to make this same page, but have it be something different, you can always duplicate it and then edit it. Make sure, you still want to make sure, even if it doesn't look like things need to be customized, you want to make sure that it sounds like you and what you're presenting to your clients. Our preview looks like this is a full checklist, but it looks like the loading has squished some things. So you would want to adjust that or revisit when the system's not giving you a little bit of issue. Like I said, the formatting can be a bit clunky, but it can also be super helpful. So making sure everything is there. Looks like we are cutting it short on time. So I'm gonna breeze through a couple of these, making sure that these numbers are accurate for your market. A section for your portfolio. Maybe it's not something that you like to go through with potential clients, but you can always, again, delete it or include it, make it bigger, whatever. You get to completely customize this to you. And then again, all of your information you want to update and switch that out. Now, let's say we switched all of that. Everything is completely custom with our information, but we left it as a template without client information. Now, when you're done and you've saved all of your changes, it's going to be here as a listing presentation template. So now when you have a presentation to make, you can select the three dots, make a copy, and then when it loads, it's going to throw a new version right here, copy of. Then you can rename it. Put your client's name. And then come into this version and make that specific for those clients. And all you have to do is update the house and their information. Maybe tweak the template a little bit depending on, different areas or what they're interested in. Maybe you don't include a portfolio for this price point, but maybe for a higher one you will. Just all depends on how you choose to run your business. But now you can create one specifically for them without having to worry about where your branding is. Went back a little too much. There we go. And you can do that as many times with as many clients as you need. All right, guys, I know I went pretty quick trying to make up for that issue at the beginning, but I think I answered all of the questions as they came in. Thank you guys so much for coming. Again, email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'm going to throw that in the chat for you in case you want to copy it. And we'd be happy to either help with troubleshooting or answer any questions about the process. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we're close to the weekend, so hopefully you guys have a great weekend as well.